Alright, so today I wanted to do a comparison between the Librem 5 by Purism and the Pinephone by Pine64. And I wanted to talk about the operating systems involved and the possible future of Linux on mobile. So, the biggest problem I have with the Librem 5 is if you go on this website here, you know everything that's inside of it. As you can see here, you know what processor, what screen, what RAM, what not, everything that there is to know. Whereas with Purism, you know by looking at it, it's going to have the GNOME desktop. I don't know what version of GNOME. It's going to be probably custom for mobile. It tells you a lot about privacy. It's got this comparative privacy chart. It shows a picture of it being used as kind of a mobile computing unit, so it could replace your laptop if all you use your laptop for is checking email and basic shit. And you're not going to be fucking video editing on this, but you probably could. I wouldn't, but you could. But it's very much a laptop replacement if you use your laptop for basic shit. But as you can see, all you really know about it is it has a headphone jack, it has a user replaceable battery, it has video out, but you don't know, it's got HTML5 apps, you don't know much else besides that. Whereas with Pinephone, you know everything about it. So if we highlight this, we copy it, we paste it, we hit paste and go, we go to Quack, I have no idea how to fucking pronounce that, and then we go down all the way to the very bottom, we hit 4G IoT module. I hate that I can't just paste and go, but fuck it. EG25G. And now I know exactly what band specification it's going to use. Right here. I know it's going to be compatible with T-Mobile. There's a little star there. Under development is what it says. If it works with AT&T, it should work with T-Mobile, no fucking problem. We'll see. The point is, this costs $150 fucking dollars. I know everything that's inside of it, which is where I like Pinephone better. Purism is very much the Apple of the FOSS community, in my opinion, in that they sell kind of overpriced hardware with great software. Case in point, the Librem 5 isn't going to be much different from this, especially in specs. They're both mid-range phones. But the Purism is going to cost over $700 fucking dollars, whereas the Pinephone by Pine64 is going to be $150. On top of that, Pine64 is also reportedly, according to their Twitter and their Mastodon page, going to be releasing a $25 smartwatch, hopefully in the future. Which will be cool because I don't like wearable tech as it is right now. I don't want to own any wearable tech, and I currently don't either because it's just fucking spying on you and it's fucking useless to me. So I would very much pay for a $25 replacement. So I would very much recommend the Pinephone 64. And then there's USB ports. And again, I don't know much about USB ports. I don't use it currently. I'm using Android. I have 3 more payments on this piece of shit LG phone here. But you can go to USB ports and check out their page. And it's actually a pretty well done website. And then Sailfish, you need to use a VPN to purchase. You can't purchase it if you're in the United States. But it is right here. Russia, whatnot, they talk about it. Right now it's available on the Sony Xperia X line, so that's cool. And then the third one I want to talk about was Plasma Mobile by KDE. So this is a KDE one. So whereas the Purism Librem 5 is going to have GNOME, this one you have the possibility of running Plasma Mobile. KDE is not a terrible operating system, but it's not my favorite. I don't like bright colors and shit, and it's just bloated to me. I've always preferred Cinnamon. I would much prefer to use UB ports. And then there's Postmarket OS. I don't know what the other three are. So Postmarket OS. This one. That's this one here. And you got it on a Nokia N900 and a Google Nexus 5. So if you want to check those out, that's Sailfish, UB ports, Postmarket, and Librem Mobile. But the possible future, and it is very possible, and I want to emphasize possible, is Darling Linux is very much in its infancy. And what Darling Linux does is it's very much like Wine, which stands for Wine is not an emulator. It's apparently an inside joke on the developers of it. And in the future, they would, in the long run, like to support iOS apps. Now, on Linux, you have something called Andbox, which, go ahead and click this and open up a tab, which is Android in a box. And go ahead and click this video here. And basically allows you to run Android apps in kind of a sandbox application. Go ahead and stop that. You get the point. Polish it. So what we will eventually have, hopefully, and I cannot stress hopefully enough, is you'll have a $150 mid-range phone that can replace your laptop for basic functions such as web browsing and whatever you do with your laptop. If you're just doing basic shit, if you're not doing like any video editing or whatnot, so checking email, watching YouTube, and looking up stuff online, just buy yourself a mobile monitor, or like a portable monitor, sorry, and that'll be that. But at the same time, you'll be able to run Linux on your phone, and I'm hoping that it'll allow me to download the desktop version of my web browser, because the mobile version of Firefox and Waterfox kind of fucking suck, and that you can't use DRM content on it, unfortunately, whereas you can on the desktop version, which is very important because in my last video I talked about Apple Music doing online streaming, and you do need DRM content available for that. So I'm really hoping that I can get the desktop versions of my browsers on this phone. Also hoping that I'll be able to easily put Flatpak support or Snap support, either one. I prefer Flatpak over Snap, honestly. And I'm really hoping development takes off on Darling, because in the future what you'll have is a mid-range phone that can run Linux, replace your laptop, and still run iOS apps and Android apps. So you will literally have two mobile environments the two duopoly environments right now, iPhone and Android, on a Linux phone. So you'll essentially have the duopoly on Linux, which means you'll have 3 environments on one $150 mid-range phone, which is fucking fantastic. And I cannot stress enough that I very much like Pinephone and what they're doing. And I cannot recommend Purism Librem 5 simply because I don't know enough about it. And quite frankly, if you're asking me to spend over $700 fucking dollars on a device that is a mid-range phone that's not much different than this, and this one's going to cost $150, I'm not willing to pay 3 times the price for similar specs. I'm just not. Even if it has a 10% improvement in performance, I'm still not going to pay 3 times the price for 10% improvement of performance. So that's this video. I just wanted to do a follow-up with my last one. And this will be my next phone, the Pinephone will be. And I'm very much hoping that they do end up making that $25 smartwatch, because I don't like wearable tech, and I wouldn't recommend you buy any because they're just fucking spying on you. And there's been reports that they may or may not be in business with insurance companies. So if you're fat as fuck and your heart rate's down, the insurance companies might try to charge you more for your insurance, and it's just a whole fucking pain in the ass, and I don't recommend you buying this shit. But yeah, so that's the comparison, and a little touch base on the various operating systems that I know of. UBport, Sailfish, Plasma Mobile, and Postmarket OS. And the very possible future that you will have a Linux phone that can replace your laptop with a portable monitor while also running Android apps, and hopefully development takes off on Darling and you'll be able to run iOS apps, because that would be fucking fantastic. So I'm going to stop this video now. I'm starting to ramble, but thank you for watching, and maybe consider subscribing. Have a great day. I'm going to go watch TV and maybe finish up Breaking Bad. I never managed to watch it while I was on TV, so I've been binging the fuck out of it on Netflix right now. In terms of Apple, I wouldn't recommend you buy anything of theirs other than the Apple TV HD, which is what I own. It is the best at what it does, which is a TV box. I have a Roku. The thing's a pain in my ass. The fucking remote is the biggest pain in my ass. I had a Fire TV stick. I got rid of that. The fucking GUI was trash. The App Store was trash. And $150 for an Apple TV, the HD one, not the 4K, because the 4K one doesn't do 4K YouTube, and I don't have a 4K TV, and most 4K is bullshit anyways, because they're taking VHS tapes and just upgrading it to 4K, which is fucking dumb. I still own DVDs. Most of my collection is Blu-rays. I don't really give a fuck about 4K. Even if I had a 4K TV, I'd stick with the HD and just let my TV upscale the fucking thing. I'm very much rambling right now, but the point is, Apple makes trash hardware, and it would be, especially on their phones, and it would be very much appreciated to have a $150 phone like this that I could run iOS apps on if I wanted to, that could run Android apps if I wanted to, while also replacing my laptop for basic shit. And I'm going to stop the video, and as I said, maybe consider subscribing to my channel, random reviews and shit. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.